I'm independent wrestling referee Sean Cassidy, and you're watching Saved by the Buzzer with Dan and Bill.
All right, guys, our guest at this time is Hamilton's own Rip Impact. Rip, you and I go way back, back 2008, I believe. That was when I first met you with SPRY Wrestling. And so it's been a while, but the two of us have kept in touch for a very long time. Thank you for agreeing to be on our debut episode of Saved by the Buzzer. I think I just got to start with so everybody can get to know you a little bit better. Where does the name Rip Impact come from?
Oh, can't believe it's been 13 years since the SPRY days. It's good to reconnect with you and see you face to face now. I'm glad we've been able to keep in touch. Get right into it. Honestly, the name Rip Impact, I wish there was more of a story behind it, but just as a teenager, probably about 20 or so years ago, when I was just trying to get into wrestling and just messing around with the friends before I really started my journey in training and becoming a wrestler, I just wrote down a handful of words and a handful of names, and I really gravitated towards the word Rip, like the name Rip, and I was trying to pair something up with it, and Impact, and I just put the two together, and it seemed to kind of sounded cool, and a lot of the guys at the time liked it. I honestly didn't know if it would stick, but I mean, here we are almost 20 years later since I've thought of it. You know what I mean? 18 or so years currently actively wrestling, and it stuck with me. So obviously it's doing okay. So I mean, I've always come up with a couple of nicknames later on, but the name Rip Impact has always been kind of around. I think it's easy to cheer as well. Like the name Rip can just come off people's tongues and people cheer it, which is cool. So
yeah. Well, even your finishing move, the ripcord, right? I mean, it's awesome. It's really cool, and it's great to cheer, like you said. I remember cheering that name multiple times in UWA, and then when we went on to SPRY, I didn't cheer as much because I was backstage, but it's that's a cool origin of what. As a kid, you just write everything down, and whatever sticks. And it's 18, like you said, 18 years later, so it's stuck. That's great.
We used to hit the barricade, Rip Impact. Remember that?
Yeah, that was cool. So you kind of touched on it. You've had over 18 years in the business, so many years of experience, countless promotions with endless superstars, and just priceless memories all around. What are some of your highlights over the years?
Oh, yeah, I really got my good start and broke out 2004 with UWA Hardcore, which is to this day, I mean, it was only 4 or 5 years, but the time spent there was, I'll always cherish and remember it. And then later on, the time with SPRY, even though it was short-lived, I had some fun times there. Some of my biggest memories were early on in my career, just the chance to travel to Mexico was unreal, training down there and wrestling down there, training under Ultimo Dragon and Skida and Jorge Rivera, which is Skida, but Negro Novara and Archangel, all those guys down there was just incredible. Anytime I got to travel to the States was awesome. Wrestling like locally in my hometown, if it's currently wrestling against some of my students, which is awesome. Or wrestling against superstars like the likes of AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels before they were signed to independent shows in the last couple of years, wrestling with superstars like Cole Cabana. Probably one of my favorite matches of all time was a couple of years ago against Speedball Mike Bailey. He's one of the best around, and that's a memory I won't forget.
Rip, we talked about how you fought in SPRY Wrestling about like 10 plus years ago. And I just wanted to touch on your first match with Drew Gulak, and he's in the WWE right now. Just wondering if you had any experiences with the WWE or any other major wrestling companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And those would tie into the last question as well. Like some of my best memories and experiences have been with some of the top tier promotions. I've got to do a lot of work with Ring of Honor, which is just an awesome, incredible promotion that I love working with, and working with some awesome talent there, like Tommaso Ciampa, who's in NXT, and a few other guys, and just any chance I've got to work with them has been awesome. I've been lucky to be able to dabble into WWE a little bit, doing some extra work with them and doing some tryouts with them. Anytime I got to share a ring with Drew Gulak, be it the first time at the first ever SPRY show, was just awesome. But I got to work with him a couple other times other than that, and it's been awesome. And it was actually really cool to come full circle when I was doing some WWE extra work and some tryout stuff there. It was really cool full circle to run into Drew Gulak backstage and talk to him in catering, and like we share some stories, and he almost helped me out of a potential jam. He almost helped me because I needed a pair of shorts. I was able to get them for the second day, but I needed a pair of shorts. But he was there. You know what I mean? I was there for 2 days. He was there offering me a pair of shorts if I needed to borrow them, which is super cool. And he didn't have to do that, but luckily all worked out. But it's been cool having those chances, and we still keep in contact. I still message him once in a while or whatever. And he's doing awesome for himself. And he deserves everything because he's an incredible talent and he's doing some awesome matches. But myself, yeah, I've been able to do some tryouts and some extra work with WWE. I got to do a little bit of work with Ring of Honor over all the years, which has been awesome. Done some stuff, just extra stuff with Impact. And I'm always branching out and doing whatever I can. Over the years, I did a little bit with Dragon Gate and Evolve. I'm just trying to keep myself active and just wrestle locally. Well, nowadays, kind of settling in and focusing on my wrestling school as well.
And I remember some of the extra work that you did for WWE most recently. Even my son remembers the conga line with
Yes.
with No Way Jose. That was awesome. We were there, and it was really cool to see you. And then once you posted it on social media after, we just kept watching it over and over again. It was really cool.
For sure.
So Rip, back in December, and we've touched on this a couple times, but back in December, the wrestling world lost a great friend and a legend. Brodie Lee passed away on December 26th, Boxing Day. I know that you wrestled him numerous times over the years, and we just wanted to know, what was he like in the ring, in the locker room, and what was your favorite match with him?
Cool. Yeah, wrestling literally lost one of the best people on Boxing Day of last year. Brodie Lee was incredible talent, incredible person, incredible husband, incredible father, incredible wrestler, everything from top to bottom. I got lucky to know Brodie pretty much since the start of my career. I got to wrestle Brodie several times over all the years. He started just a little bit before myself, but him from being the Rochester, Buffalo scene, and myself just being from the Ontario scene, we crossed paths early on. I had, I think it was like my 10th ever match back in maybe 2004 against Brodie Lee in Welland, Ontario. And that was so cool to early on and get the chance to wrestle Brodie then. I remember the match vividly because it was at the high school in Welland, Ontario, and it was the first ever time I took a pile driver. So it was pretty cool, and I remember that time. And then just years later, getting the chance to wrestle with Brodie. Big events. I did something with Dragon Gate in Toronto. It was a huge pay-per-view, and Brodie came out and pretty much made a statement out of me and just laid me out and hit all his patented moves and cut a promo, which was really cool. So it was fun being a part of that and the chance to build his character there. And I think probably my favorite one with Brodie was one of the most recent ones. It was literally just about a month or so before he was moving down to Florida for WWE. I got the chance to wrestle Brodie in Buffalo, and it's only like a 7 or 8 minute match, but it was awesome. It was just a great energy, and he just made me look like $1 million. And everyone knew he was going to WWE at the time, but like he didn't have to do what he did, but he gave me a great match, and he just didn't hold back. And it was really awesome. And it was so cool they did that like weeks before he moved down to Florida and and appeared for WWE. So it was really cool. He's just a stand-up person that you can see through the outpouring of love and support that he's got over the last several months. It hasn't stopped. how important and how much of an impact he made to the wrestling world and the world as altogether.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it. I mean, he didn't just look good himself in the ring, he made others look good as well. And
Absolutely.
he put that forward with each and every match. I remember him multiple times, even in UWA hardcore.
Yeah.
And I was stunned when I, just as a fan, when I saw him for the first time. I'm like, this guy is a gem. He's so big, but he can move like the smallest guy. And I've heard stories where he's just so supportive and helpful backstage as well. So
Absolutely.
it's, you know, you could see with all the outpour and the cry and all the emotion over the
Mhm.
last couple months just from the stories. But you knew, even if you didn't know him, when you hear these stories, you really know the kind of guy that he was.
Yeah, he really was a stand-up guy. Like I said, in and out of the ring, and just watching him, like you said, in there, and he elevated everyone to another level. I can still recount a match that Brodie had with Jimmy Olsen of the Olsen twins. Jimmy doesn't wrestle anymore, but Colin Delaney does, and then there's Cheech and Cloudy and all those guys that from that scene. But Jimmy Olsen versus Brodie Lee in NWA Upstate in Rochester. To this day, it was still one of my favorite matches I've ever watched as a fan live. I wrestled on earlier in the show, and I got to watch that match. It was the main event, and it was just awesome. And Brodie, just the type of person that after a show, he'll hang out, he'll talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's an avid Maple Leafs fan. He loved them so much, and he was never afraid to let that be known. Even though he was from Rochester, Buffalo area, he was always the Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and that was actually part of our match that we had in Buffalo. He was wearing a Maple Leafs jersey, and then I think underneath the jersey he had Maple Leafs hoodie. Underneath the hoodie, he had like a Maple Leafs t-shirt. And the whole beginning of our match was just kind of me derobing him and just shining up on him. So it was fun. He's a stand-up
Uh,
guy that will be remembered forever.
That's awesome. I got to check out, maybe it's online somewhere. I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not sure if you remember this, but back in the SPRY days, we didn't really interview anybody on video or audio. We had just on our website, so we would publicize the SPRY 7.
Yeah.
So it's 7 questions, just answering, you know, the first thing that comes to your mind. Some of the questions may be, do you prefer this or that? You don't necessarily have to prefer either of the two, but you know,
Okay.
just answer as fast as you can those 7 questions. It's just another way to get to know Rip Impact. So Bill, I think I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can take it away with the SPRY 7.
Even though you said it's rapid fire, don't worry, we're not timing this like Family Feud, so take your time.
Okay. Sounds good.
Uh, okay, so just to get started, Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Good man, good man.
Truthfully, I'm a Nintendo guy.
Oh, there you go. So
But
neither then.
I chose PlayStation over Xbox. Yeah.
Off the board, I like it. Off the board. NHL or NBA?
Well, I mean, again, off the board a little bit. I prefer wrestling over everything, but I'll choose NHL.
There we go. A little, a little Brodie Lee right there. Favorite TV show?
Oh, maybe of all time, I'd say maybe Breaking Bad would be up there.
Good
I mean,
choice.
there's a lot of shows. It'd be hard to break it up and take a little time to break it up by genre of drama and thriller and comedy, but Breaking Bad's the first that comes to mind.
Favorite athlete in any sport other than wrestling?
um, I enjoyed baseball, and I was always a Toronto Blue Jays fan. So, like, I mean, it's pretty iconic. Joe Carter, the home run in 92, 93, and World Series and stuff. So he's the first that comes to mind other than sports. But again, most of my sports just gravitate towards pro wrestling.
I wish I was alive for that home run. Favorite wrestler?
Pardon?
Favorite wrestler?
Oh, favorite wrestler. Oh, all time, I'd say Bret Hart or Chris Jericho. It's hard to pick one. But again, 2 Canadian icons.
Favorite thing to do pre-pandemic?
Well, I mean, just wrestle in front of a live audience, really. Like, go out there and do what I love doing, my career. Wrestling in front of like a sold out crowd and packed building is there's nothing that comes close to that for me. That's like my be all end all and my passion.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully, the time
sure.
will come soon again.
Hopefully. Favorite thing to do during the pandemic?
Um, I've been fortunate. I've still been able to train a little bit and get in my own ring that I have, so that's always great, and always love doing that. But honestly, during the nice weather, I've really been enjoying either kayaking, because I have some kayaks, so I do that a lot, or doing some rock climbing.
Okay, so there's the SPRY 7. I probably would agree with you for a lot of those too, except you lost some points with PlayStation over Xbox. I think
Oh,
I think I'm the out of the three, I'm the only one with Xbox.
fair enough.
Just I don't know. I love Xbox, but Rip, we definitely enjoyed having you here. I definitely appreciate your time, but also your friendship over the years. We definitely have to do this again.
Definitely.
Bill and I have talked about even doing a watch along. So maybe in the future,
Sure.
if you're up for it, we can maybe even watch the Drew Gulak Rip Impact match. It's on YouTube,
Yeah,
so we could do that while we just spitball and just talk it through.
absolutely.
I think that would be a good idea in the future, and I would love to interview you again, just talk about the SPRY days maybe next time, now that
Definitely.
some people got to know you a little bit better this way, and then next time we could talk about some SPRY days. And I know Bill was a lot younger when we had SPRY, so he's always asking me how did it go like this or that. So we're always talking about it. As we grow as a podcast, we'll be talking a lot about SPRY, even though it's a small segment because we're incorporating professional, like just
Of
sports
course.
in general. We'll be diving deep into SPRY, and we would definitely love to have you back.
I'd love to be back.
So Rip Impact, you could check him out all over the place at Rip Impact, I believe.
Yeah, that's
So
everywhere. Twitter,
everywhere,
Instagram.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I hope I'm not missing anything. Are you on
No,
YouTube as well, or?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so check him out at Rip Impact, and you also have a wrestling school in Hamilton. What's the social media account for that?
Hamilton Pro Wrestling across the board.
So check out Hamilton Pro Wrestling across all social media platforms. Guys, we will have all the links in our description of the podcast, as well as everywhere that we post all the information. Rip, thank you very much for joining us here today. This episode will drop on March the 5th. It's very soon. We're days away from the interview. And again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rip. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.